I think that's all being driven by a strong e-distribution business. I mean, we've got Xbox Live, we've got PSN now, we've got the Nintendo equivalent. We've also got Steam on PC and Macintosh, and it provides a great platform for people to distribute their independent games, and hopefully that's going to continue.
I mean, just to add something to that, not only should you be looking at what can I bring to the studio as opposed to why should they employ me, look at all the value adds that you would bring, but also think of it from the point of view of, whoops, just gone blank.
I've got something to say, actually. I've done lots of interviews as part of my role.
Yeah.
And, especially at the moment, you are seeing people who have very good quality work, and you're seeing lots of them. It's how you differentiate yourself between, you and the other candidates.
Yeah,
It's about enthusiasm, it's about going the extra mile, it's about targeting your work to your interview. If you want to take your portfolio to the interview, then you make sure it's properly targeted. You do the research, find out what games the company are making, what they have made and what they will be making, and see how applicable your work is to those areas.
What infuriates you about interviewees who come along or frustrates you, I should say, about interviewers who come along who aren't prepared, and what are the things that are not preparing that you'd like to see more of?
I guess it's all about making sure that they know about the company and the history of the company, and I think you can get a little bit of the company ethos from just looking at the websites. It is a little bit frustrating. It's disappointing more than anything when people turn up and one of the questions you might ask them is, what do you know about our company? And they say, well, I've played one of your games, but that's about it. You want to show them you know all about the company, you want to work for them, and these are the reasons you want to work for them, and these are the reasons they want to employ you.
Yeah, I've been on panels, and one of the things we say is, why do you want to work for this company?
Yeah.
Because, you've got to get someone who fits in. You don't have a long time when you're interviewing someone. Okay, they'll come with a portfolio or something like that. But the one thing is, you're taking a bit of a gamble, because you don't want someone there for only 2 months and to find out that they don't fit into the way that you do. And really, it just shows something about the commitment if somebody's not prepared to at least look at the website. But those people that are going to look around, because believe me, in this day and age, there are going to be other candidates who will do that. They'll go and find out, and they'll go and find out from people around, they'll read around, and information's easy to get these days.
Yeah.
And they'll know about that company, and that will impress you when you're on that interview panel, because you're thinking, yes, you really want to come here. It's not just, I bunged in another application. That's the worst thing that people want to see, It's really easy to fire off an email to someone saying, I'd really like to come and work for your company. Yeah, but why do you want to?
And that takes me to my second point. Which goes back to the original question about it being a difficult jobs market and where do you fit and how do you best prepare for that. Be the best you can. Stick out beyond the crowd. Don't get despondent and say, well, it's the job market's difficult, etc. Think, the better I am, the higher my skill sets are, I'm going to be in the best place to get the job.
And that's a good point. So let's try and create a list, and that'll be driven by this question here. I've recently finished my college degree, and he's started posting on forums, on IRC channels, emailing companies like Lionhead, building a portfolio that he's now put on, up on the web that includes details of the projects that he's working on. This chap sounds like he's trying really hard. What other stuff can he do to get his name out in the industry and really get to the point of getting to that interview?
He's made a great start with that. That's exactly what I would advise doing. The next stage is to start on some sort of group work, get real world experience, get job placement. Contact studios, see if he can get his foot in the door just to do either work for hire or an apprenticeship scheme, join a modding community, start producing stuff that goes beyond the portfolio, because that's fantastic and is absolutely necessary when you get to the interviews, but start looking at real life experience to take it beyond that.
Pete, you've worked on apprenticeship schemes or worked within those. What were the kind of people that your company brought in
It was a fairly informal internship program. People would come in, they would work in each different department for maybe 4 weeks at a time and learn the publishing business. And as part of that, that would be part of development, finance, marketing, sales, and also the legal team and quality assurance. I think it's really important that if you're going to go on one of these internship schemes, that you make sure they're paid. I know it's not always the case, but certainly the last company we were at, we paid our interns a wage. It's a brilliant way to get experience.
I think one of the things is it's an interesting point to say make sure they're paid, especially as soon as you're in the industry and take people on. But I think if you can get paid work, obviously, if you're not getting paid and you're doing something, that's better than doing nothing. But paid work shows a commitment by the company. That's the thing, they're investing into it. Because what you don't want to do is spend a few months at a place and they don't care, because all you are is somebody that's not getting paid, and maybe they're thinking you're getting under the feet and they've done you a favour. Actually, it might not be the best way. So where you can get paid placements is definitely...
I think if you're not getting paid, then you're probably going to be making tea and coffee and... okay, you'll be in the environment, you'll be learning things, but it will be a very casual relationship with the company, and I think that's not always the best way to learn. But sometimes it's the only choice you have.
The thing I'd add to that is make sure that although you're there to learn, that you give value add whilst you're there. It's not unknown at all for you to go in one of these internships, and at the end of the period, they invite you on to stay for a fixed-term contract. At the end of the fixed-term contract, there's a full-time job there. So absolutely make sure that you're learning, you're building your own portfolio, but you are adding value to the company every day you're there.
So Richie Ewan asks, and this is related to this discussion, how transferable are the skills? I know that you touched on it, Carsten, but how transferable are the skills and the qualifications that that we're teaching on the course? Is the film industry an option? Post-production, these kinds of areas, and how does that relate to each of the courses that we teach? So, what are the transferable skills, for example, on the art animation course, designer and developer?
On the art and animation course, absolutely transferable to various medias, including the film industry, into adverts, into the military. They do 3D simulations. Although it's an art and animation course, it's really an art and animation, digital art and animation course. The skills are totally transferable. We've skewed the Train the Game course very much towards what a games artist needs. But there's a huge crossover between there and virtually any other 3D and 2D digital arts. We deal with concepting, so they could work in storyboarding, both for the film industry and for the print industry, right the way through to texturing and modelling.
And what about the developer side of things?
Yeah, I think one of the things to be clear is that the courses from Train to Game are quite industry focused. It just so happens that industry has quite a lot in common with other industries. A degree, on the other hand, is and some people see this as a criticism, and that's why it's important that we have things like Train to Game, where it's very focused and doesn't have more of the transferable skills that we tend to have at university. We'll put things in like social and professional issues as a requirement for many universities to have, whereas some people aren't as interested in that, so want something more focused, like the Train to Game courses. So the Train to Game courses are focused, but it just so happens that the technologies that we use and the things that tools that we use are used in many other areas. So you have got those skills that you can use. But really, to transfer across from one to the other, make sure that you go to the forums where people are there who are in films, and never stop. If you get your Train to Game diploma, developer diploma, or your designer diploma, don't see that as the end of the road. And especially if you later on want to move into a slightly adjacent industry.